Welcome to FinStecks from Laura and Anthony. Today, we're unpacking some fascinating movements in how we navigate the web on our phones.
We really are.
We're going to be looking closely at the strategies of two major players in this space, Apple's Safari and Google's Chrome. It feels like we're on the cusp of some significant shifts here.
Absolutely. What's particularly interesting is the very clear contrast emerging in their approaches, especially when it comes to something, we all care about, our privacy while browsing.
Right.
It's almost like a tale of two philosophies playing out.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit then. Apple has launched an advertising campaign that's pretty direct, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
The tagline is Safari, a browser that's actually private. Now, they don't explicitly tell you to uninstall Chrome,
Yeah.
but it certainly throws down the gauntlet.
Definitely.
Especially when you consider reports that Google has a goal to significantly increase Chrome's footprint on iPhones from like 30% to 50%.
Yeah, that's the context. It's a strategic play for sure. And, to really understand it, we need to consider Google Chrome's own journey with online tracking.
Okay.
Cast your mind back to, 2020? There was that initial announcement about phasing out third-party cookies.
Right, I remember that. That set a certain expectation, didn't it, about the future of web privacy.
Exactly. And then just recently, July 2024, we saw a significant pivot, a confirmation that tracking cookies, well, they aren't going anywhere after all.
Which definitely raised some eyebrows. Caused a lot of discussion. Why the reversal, do we think?
Well, the reasons given point to a complex mix of things. There was undoubtedly pressure from the advertising industry.
Sure, they rely on them.
Heavily.
Yeah.
And additionally, European regulators reportedly had concerns, worries that Google, controlling the dominant browser might gain an unfair advantage if third-party cookies just vanished.
So it highlights the tightrope walk these tech giants are on, balancing user privacy and the economic realities of the web. Right. And it's not just about cookies, is it? We've also seen some notable developments around how Chrome handles user data more broadly, particularly that incognito mode stuff.
Yeah, the incognito revelations.
The fact that data was reportedly still being collected even when users thought they were browsing privately, that's a pretty significant point.
It is. And that huge multi-billion-dollar settlement reached earlier this year really underscores the gravity.
What were the terms there again?
Google agreed to delete a massive amount of data. They said billions of records collected from incognito sessions going back to 2016.
Wow. Okay.
And they've committed to making their disclosures clearer and enabling default blocking of third-party cookies in incognito for, I think, 5 years. It's a substantial outcome.
Though, it's important to remember, Google maintained their position, didn't they? That the lawsuit lacked merit.
They did. No direct monetary payouts to the plaintiffs in that specific settlement.
But the fact that individuals are now pursuing their own legal action suggests this isn't quite the final word. Thousands are apparently seeking damages in California.
Absolutely. And if you connect this to that other discovery, those Chrome expansions,
Yeah.
downloaded millions of times, that were sort of secretly gathering browsing data, usernames, even location information, it paints a picture of ongoing challenges within the Chrome ecosystem regarding user privacy.
It really highlights that tension, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Between Google's stated commitment to user choice and the fundamental nature of their advertising-driven business model.
That's the core issue, really. Critics would say their model relies on that tracking.
Which brings us neatly to Safari's approach. They seem to be taking a fundamentally different route, positioning privacy as a core feature.
Yeah.
Tell me more about their key privacy technologies.
Okay, yeah. Safari's Intelligent Tracking Prevention, or ITP, is really central to their strategy.
ITP, right.
What's fascinating is how it uses machine learning right there on your device to identify and block cross-site trackers. And crucially, it does this without ever sending your browsing history to Apple.
Okay, so it stays local. That's a key difference.
Exactly. Then you have the Privacy Report feature, which is great for users, gives them a clear visual overview of who's attempting to track them as they browse, makes it more tangible.
And private browsing in Safari seems pretty clear-cut, too.
Yeah, it's straightforward. It doesn't store your history, search queries, or form data. It offers, a more concrete sense of private browsing compared to what came out about incognito.
Makes sense.
And digging a bit deeper, Safari imposes limitations on how long third-party cookies can even last, just 7 days for responses from third-party IP addresses.
Okay.
Plus, users get very granular controls over cookies. You can block all of them or restrict them just to websites you actually visit.
It's more user control there.
Definitely. And when you add in things like fingerprinting protection, making it harder to identify your specific device, built-in ad blocking capabilities, and for iCloud Plus subscribers, there's iCloud Private Relay.
Right. What does that do again?
It basically masks your IP address and general location from websites and network providers. Adds another layer of privacy. You really see a very privacy-focused design overall.
So putting these two side by side, we see a really distinct divergence. It's quite stark, actually.
It is.
Apple is clearly actively positioning Safari as the privacy-first option, making it a key differentiator for their ecosystem. While Google, with Chrome, appears to be navigating a more complex landscape, sort of balancing privacy concerns with the inherent structure of its advertising business.
Yeah, and this raises a crucial question for you, the iPhone user listening right now. Where do your personal priorities lie?
Exactly.
How much value do you place on your online privacy? And what potential trade-offs are you willing to make? Maybe in terms of features or perhaps that seamless integration with Google's huge suite of services.
It's a calculation we all increasingly have to make, isn't it?
It really is. It's not always a simple choice.
This is definitely an area that will continue to evolve rapidly as the whole digital privacy landscape shifts.
Yeah.
It's certainly something to keep a close eye on.
Indeed. The dynamic between these two browsers and their fundamental approaches to user data, it's going to be fascinating to watch unfold.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.